We play.
We fight.
We conquer.
Welcome to the Freak Show, where our one rule is be legendary. I am your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Today, I get to embark on an adventure that I've been waiting for quite a number of years now. I've been following this game for a long time on Twitter, saw many updates, lots of little images and GIFs and things, and it looked really cool, and then I just kind of just kept my eye out and kept looking at it, but not really diving into it. So I'm pretty much going into this blind. I have a rough idea what the game's about, what it's like. It's been likened to Might and Magic, the old school Might and Magic, not Heroes, but Might and Magic and like Wizardry and stuff like that. So not exactly dungeon crawler, but kind of. Well, you'll see. But I don't know. I haven't actually played it yet. Pretty excited. Anyway, the game is called A Quest That Became Legend. It is by Neon Light Studio and released on October 13th, 2023. Like I said, I've been following this for a very long time on Twitter, reached out to the developer who was kind enough to send this my way. So I do truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Without the generosity of developers like you and many of the other folks that I work with, I would not be able to cover even a tenth of what I cover on the channel. And we're coming up, I don't know if this is going to be the episode, but we're coming up and getting really, really close to 10,000 videos we put out in under 10 years. I think that's pretty good. I think that's a pretty good amount of videos. So, pretty sweet. Anyhow, thank you so much for sending this my way. I believe it's a solo developer, too. Many, many years, passion project, working on it. It looks incredible. It's actually huge in file size for what I thought it was going to be, so it looks like it's going to be quite the adventure. And you guys know that recently I started up and I've been playing the Bard's Tale trilogy, and I'm going to be playing this game completely blind. But with the Bard's Tale trilogy, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to cover it, if I'd have any success at it, if it would be something that I could make entertaining. I still don't know any of that stuff with this one, but after the success of that and me playing it for 5-6 hours and going yeah, no, we're playing this, I'm just diving into this blind and we're going to see how it goes. I am having to re-record this episode because my microphone was set really low in Windows for some reason. First episode is going to be basically covering the tutorial, and it's going to be character creation. So all the information the developer wants to give you at the front of the video, or the front of the game, is going to be right here, and then the next episode is going to start our official gameplay. So this should give you at least a rough idea of what you're doing and how to do it, and then you guys can grab the game and just dive in yourselves, not have to go through all of this stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but yeah, still, there's a lot of cool stuff here, and I'm excited. I will point out any small mistakes that I see or things I might change. Mr. Developer Man, don't be offended by any of it. Think of it as a critique, something to think about. If you agree and you're oh yeah, no, then by all means change it. If you don't, that's okay. It's not going to ruin my day. I just want your game to be as best as it possibly can. So remember, when I try to critique stuff, I always try. Can't always do it. Sometimes I'm just this doesn't feel right. I don't know how to fix it. But if I do find something that I'm oh, this is off, and I have a suggestion, I will always try to at least suggest something. And my final advice to any developer that I do suggest anything to, if you don't immediately go, I didn't think of that, that's great, let's do it, which is fine. I don't expect anybody to do that, but sometimes it happens, right? But run it by your community. Say, someone pointed out blah, 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 blah. And I'm not real sure about it. What do you guys think? And then see what the general consensus is. If everybody loves it, then by all means, go ahead and change it. But if nobody likes it, then it's just me. It's totally okay. So that's one of those caveats I always want to kind of throw out there, one of those ideas I want to throw out there anytime I'm looking at a game and I'm finding stuff or I'm critiquing it in any way. And one final thing is, when I am critiquing a game, generally it's because I really, really, really like the game and I want it to be as perfect as possible. So, all right, we're going into the tutorial side of things. It is just a giant bunch of screens, explains how the game is played and all this stuff. I think it's cool. It's fine. It is a lot of information thrown at you at the beginning. Some people prefer this because they can just skip it outright and ignore it. Some people prefer this because it's the information right there. They like to visually read and understand and comprehend. Other people prefer a tutorial area that walks you through a bunch of stuff and explains the game. I'm happy when games have tutorials because it gives me the information I need to do what I need to do. So, my suggestion for the tutorial would be maybe show how many slides there's going to be total. Like we're at slide 1 of probably like 12 or something like that. It just gives people an idea, some sort of expectation as to how much you're going to be going through. So just be aware of that. And let us begin our tutorial adventure, guys and gals. A quest that became legend tutorial. For the optimal experience, it is recommended that you take a few minutes to familiarize yourself with the basics of a quest that became legend. This tutorial can also be accessed from the main menu. The UI overlay. You have the option to choose between 2 types of UI overlays. You can easily switch between the 2 options using the toggle style key. So this looks to me like a more old school version where you're roaming around, your party's at the bottom, you got all the buttons and stuff. Very reminiscent of stuff that I've seen before. I have seen this as well, though honestly I usually see this on the left-hand side. I'm not sure why it's on the right. I'm not complaining. It's not a critique. It's not something that needs to be changed. Just saying that I usually see it on the left. This is a more minimalist approach and a little bit of a tighter, cleaner UI, as some people would say. But I think I prefer this, and it's probably going to be what I go down. If I find I don't like this, because, you know, you do miss a sizable chunk of the game here. The bottom, I mean, it's like, what, like 10, 15% of the screen? It's not that big of a deal. Who knows? Who knows? I do think I like option 1 better, though. All right. Controls. All keys can be viewed and changed from the key control menu. Movement interactions. There are 2 types of view modes in the game, free look and cursor interaction. Toggle between the 2 modes using the interaction key. In free look mode, the cursor is hidden and the game view follows mouse movements. This mode is intended for navigating the world. In cursor interaction mode, the cursor becomes visible, allowing interactions with the game world such as picking up loot or selecting a target to attack. While in this mode, you'll need to move the cursor to the screen's edge to look around. All right. Information window. Utilize the information window located at the bottom right of the screen to view various types of messages. These include details such as damage dealt and received, notifications about targets being out of range, as well as updates regarding quests. So basically a combat log and a quest updater type thing, which is fine. Or in there you see game save, right? Open world environment. In a quest that became legend, nearly all areas and locations are accessible right from the beginning. This grants you the freedom to explore wherever you choose. However, it also means that you might venture into an area where your party lacks the strength to survive. In such instances, seek out alternative places to explore and return once your party has grown stronger. Now, we're going to take a second here. 2 things. I love that this is a, hey, go do your stuff. And that's it. Go do your thing, right? So we just kind of wander out and we start looking around and exploring, and we're getting ourselves into trouble, and we can wander into a place that's too strong for us and we can get killed, or we can wander into a place that's perfect and we fight, and then we maybe find a place that's in the middle and we struggle a bit, but we gain levels and strength, and then we find the easier spot later and we're like, oh, this is great, you know, it's super easy, we're crushing everything. Like, I like that freedom to do whatever we want to do. And the other important thing this tells me is there isn't level scaling, or at least it doesn't appear that there's level scaling, because there was, you could wander anywhere and everything would be scaled to your level and you'd be able to fight it and win. I hate level scaling. I think it's one of the worst things that has ever been invented in gaming. There should, if you want to have level scaling in games, if it's a thing that people want, which it baffles me if that's the case, but if it's something that people actually want, make it a toggleable option. Because I will never toggle that on, ever, under any circumstances. I hate the idea of level scaling. If I go to like a level 1 area and I get to like level 5, then I go to level 5 area and I'm struggling and I'm like, I must really suck. I go back to that level 1 area, I grind up to level 7, I come back, I crush the level 5 area. That should be allowed. That should be something I can do. I don't like the idea of going like, well, I can go to any area I want and just everything is going to be my level and I fight it at this level and I'm good and I'm great and it's wonderful. The only thing that you can change at that point is like the difficulty slider to make it harder or easier, and to me that's super lame. I don't like it. So this doesn't have that. This is great. This is good. I'm very happy to hear all the stuff I just heard about this. And again, if you're one of those level scaling people, hey, more power to you, but I hate it. It just ruins games for me. So All right, a quest that became legend tutorial continues with quests. I know, shocking, right? To win the game, you must complete all main quests, but you will also be offered many side quests throughout the game. Though all side quests are optional, they are a good way to gather more experience and better equipment. If you ever find your party to not be strong enough to complete your current main quest, consider completing some side quests, or just explore the world on your own until your party has gotten stronger. Use the quest journal key to view both ongoing and completed quests. Your first quest has already been added. Combat. Combat is turn-based. Each character can perform a certain number of actions corresponding to their action points each turn. By the way, love that it's turn-based. I was a little worried that it was going to be real-time and I was going to be struggling. And it's fine if that was the case, because it's just a skill that I'm going to have to develop that I don't really have right now in this type of game. So the fact that this is turn-based, I'm very, very happy about. When a character is active, their current number of action points can be viewed in the field marked with AP. The order in which characters take their turns is determined by their initiative. When in combat, the party has a fixed number of movement points each round that are shared amongst all characters. The current number of movement points can be viewed in the field marked MP. When a character becomes active, a message will be displayed in the info window and the frame around their picture will be highlighted. Press the end turn key to end the active character's turn. Highlight. Use the highlight key to highlight all active enemies when in combat. Pressing the key will also highlight all nearby interactables, such as loot objects. Cool. Level up. When a character has accumulated enough experience points, they will level up. Upon leveling up, a character will become stronger, gaining boosts like increased hit points based on their stats. Additionally, they will receive 5 attribute points that they can allocate to enhance the 6 main stats of the character. Every second level, the character will also earn a skill point, which can be utilized in the skill tree. Whenever a character possesses available skill or attribute points, a small square with a cross in it will be shown in the upper right corner of the character's image. Cool. Very, very basic. Very straightforward. As far as all that goes, nothing out of the ordinary there. So, every level we get stats that we can allocate to our attribute points that we can allocate to stats, and then every second level we get skill points. Okay, got it. Character stats. Every character has 6 main stats: strength, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, speed, and dexterity. These stats influence secondary stats like attack, power, initiative, and resistances. How the main stats influence the secondary stats and what exactly the secondary stats do can be viewed by holding the mouse over the desired stat. Open the stat window by pushing the character stat keys. Cool. Conan. Skill tree. Now this is interesting. Every class has a skill tree that is unique to that class. That part makes sense, right? The skill tree is divided into 4 power levels. Every second level, a character will gain a skill point. Depending on the character's level, either a power level of 1, 2, 3, or 4 point will be awarded. A point can only be used for the corresponding power level or in a lower power level. Therefore, power level 1s can only be used in power level 1. 2s, however, can be used in both 1 and 2. 3s in 3, 2, and 1, and 4s in all of them. Use the skill tree to open the skill tree. Skill tree key to open the skill tree. Alright. And then we have common skills. Common skills are abilities that are not specific to a single class, but can be learned by every character, no matter the class. These are skills like sword, heavy armor, fire magic, and hunter. Some skills make a character better at using a specific type of weapon. Other skills like hunter allow the player to see different information about enemies. All common skills can reach a maximum level of 4, but not all classes can reach the maximum level of a certain skill. The level of a character has and can reach within a specific common skill will be viewed in the common skill window. Press the common skill key to open the window. You can hover over the mouse over to see each skill, what it does. So let's assume this is a warrior that we're looking at here. So you see a lot of weapon proficiencies maxed out. However, bow and crossbow only maxed out at 3. And you look down here at magic, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. So yeah, that all makes sense. So current level and then the max level that your particular class can get. Very cool. Skills are unique to specific classes and can only be obtained by that class. These skills are given as starting skills or are acquired through the skill tree when leveling up. Some skills are passive, while others must be actively used. Skills do not require mana, but they do have a cooldown period. Spells, on the other hand, can be learned by all classes as long as the character has a required level within that school of magic. See the common skills, like fire magic, water magic, so on and so forth. Spells have no cooldown period, but use mana. All skills and spells can be viewed and selected for casting through the skill/spellbook. Use the skill spellbook key to open the skill/spellbook. Cool. Alright, quick slots. To minimize the necessity of opening the spellbook, each character has 4 quick slots that can be utilized to assign their most frequently used skills and spells for quick casting. To allocate a skill or spell to a quick slot, merely hover the mouse over the desired skill or spell in the spellbook and press one of the 4 assigned quick slot keys. Cool. Enemy speed. Now this one I don't 100% get, but we'll see how this plays once we get into the game. Enemy speed is set to 400% by default to reduce waiting time in combat. However, the enemy animation speed can be adjusted as desired from the menu. You can also choose to only speed up movement animations, such as running and walking, or you can opt to speed up all animations, including attacks and spell usage. By default, only movement animations are sped up. Not sure what that means 100%, but we'll see when we get into the game. The world is a dangerous place. It is recommended that you save your game often, either by using the quick save key or through the save menu. The game also creates autosaves, but only at certain points, which might be spaced far apart. Now what that tells me is the autosaves are going to be like you enter a town or you completed a quest or something like that, as opposed to like every 5 minutes you get an autosave. So we're going to want to manually save sort of often. What I'm going to try to do is we'll save at every break in like episodes, like episode 1, episode 2. I don't know how many save files we're going to be able to have, but I'm going to try to do that. And then anytime that we're in the middle of doing stuff, I will try to utilize quick save in those situations. But we'll see. All right. And finally, easy mode. A quest that became legend is designed to be a challenging and it's dang. And finally, easy mode. A quest that became legend is designed to be challenging and unforgiving at times. Failure is part of the experience, and small mistakes can mean the difference between victory and defeat. However, if you prefer a more casual experience, you can activate easy mode from the in-game menu under Options, Configuration, Other. Activating easy mode will decrease several stats of the enemies. You can toggle easy mode on and off as you please, but only outside of combat. I don't plan to use easy mode. I like to see how developers intend us to play the game. That's why I generally stick to normal mode. Even if there's a harder difficulty. Occasionally I go into the harder side of things, but usually I stick down the middle, right? I like to, at least the first time I play through something, I like to see how the developer intends me to experience it. But I think it's cool that there's an option there for folks that need the easy mode. I like that the game's challenging and that they're offering this for people to actually be able to play and complete the game if they struggle with it. That's always cool. So play however you guys want. All right. That is that for the tutorial. And yeah, we're going to do character creation, and then before we dive into the game, we're going to break it off. Next episode, boom, directly into the game, starting fresh with all our characters made. So, new game. All right, I am going to be our first character, Bumpy McSquigums. Appreciate that my name fits. Male. And I am just going to scroll through these real quick. And this is my winner here. I'm going to be a warrior. There are 4 options. I wouldn't turn down something that, like a tooltip. I think it'd be a good idea to have a tooltip or a pop-up that says, warrior, strong melee fighter, good on the front line, or, whatever the case is, right? A little bit of an explanation as to what classes are. I mean, we can extrapolate pretty easily here. Warrior, frontline fighter, headbutt stuff till it dies. Ranger in general, an archer, maybe kind of like a rogue. Maybe you do a little stabby, poke. dual wielding, something along those lines, or you shoot them with a bow, right? That's what I would expect. Sorcerer, boom, boom, fire, ice, frost, dragon magic, whatever, right? Offensive magic, and then the shaman, probably some nature magic and healing. I mean, we probably don't need the tooltips or the pop-ups for this, but I wouldn't be mad at it, and I think that would be okay. Again, I don't know how many people are going to be like, I want to play that game, and I don't know anything about any game at all, but this one's the one I want to play. I don't think that's going to happen, so there's people are going to probably have some prior knowledge, but again, it just, continuity's sake, it'd be nice to see some tooltips explaining kind of what each class would be strong at. But I don't know. You can see here, we already start with 75 health, which is pretty impressive. Alright, so we got a whole bunch of stuff here. I kind of want to go through it. And I also noticed that melee damage and ranged damage. It should be ranged damage with the D. Probably. But range is fine. Anyway, both of these don't have a tooltip, which is weird. Everything else does. So, no pop-up for these two. Alright, we're going to read what the stats are, what they do, and then we're going to maybe just kind of glance over anything else that we might not understand, but I think after we go through the stats, we kind of know what everything does. When you are ordering the stuff over here on the right for the stats, another small suggestion would be at the top should be the lowest number, like every level, or sorry, every point or every 2 points, right? The lowest number, like you have here for strength. For every 2 points, plus 1 to melee damage. For every 5 points, plus 1 to attack power. For every 10 points, plus 1 to critical melee strike. That's how they should always be, in my opinion. Should be lowest number at the top, highest number at the bottom, scaling upward, ascending, whatever order. I think that's how it should be. The others are not quite so clean and neat, but we'll see that as we go. And what else? I think I found a typo somewhere, but it's fine. We'll see again. All right, so strength. We just read through that. Thing that I don't know, like I understand melee damage. I don't know what melee damage and attack power are specifically. So, I mean, melee damage, obviously you hit for 12, right? Plus whatever your weapon does, I'm going to guess. What does attack power do? Well, we come down here, we look at attack power, and... oh, here it is. Attack power is a factor that is put... OP, should be up, that should be UP. Up against the target's defense, and I think it's target's like apostrophe, target's like it's the target's defense, like it owns the defense. The target's defense power and can result in more or less damage taken by the target. Example, 20 attack power against 10 defense means that the target will take 10 extra damage. So yeah, so in this case, if the target has 0 defense power and we currently have 2 attack power and we do 12 melee damage, if we hit them, we would do 14 melee damage. So, cool. That's a cool thing. I like that. We'll check defensive power. It's the reverse. Factor that is put, again, up against the attacker's, see, apostrophe S, attack power, and can result in more or less damage taken by the target. Example, 10 attack power against 20 defense power. The target will have a 10% damage, or a 10 damage reduction, or a damage reduction of 10. Piercing damage is not reduced by defense power. Good to know. Magic power increases total magic damage of a skill or spell by this percentage. Caps at 100%. And healing increases the effectiveness of healing spells and skills. Healing power is multiplied by the character's level and added to the total heal amount of the skill or spell. Seems complicated, but fine. Healing power can only be increased by selecting certain options in the shaman skill tree or from item bonuses. Okay. All right, so we all get 60 stats. We get to throw them out. We're going to go through all the stats now. So we did the strength already. Take a look at constitution. For every point, plus 3 hit points. For every 5 points, plus 1 defense power. For every 3 points, plus 1 combat energy. I think the bottom 2 should be swapped. It should be for every 3 and then for every 5. I don't know what combat energy does because that's not a normal generic stat. So let's go take a peek. If combat lasts more rounds than a character has combat energy, the character will become fatigued. When fatigued, strength, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, and speed are decreased by 20%. Could just say all stats are reduced by 20%, but that's fine too. Again, Very nitpicky, small stuff. Doesn't really matter. Just throwing it out there. Please don't hate me. Movement points, effect duration, action points. All right, cool. Moving on to intelligence. For every 2 points, plus 1 spell damage. For every 50 points, plus 1 spell effect duration. And for every 10 points, plus 2% XP boost. Again, I would swap the last two. Put the 50 at the bottom, the 10 at the middle. We look at wisdom now. For every 6 points over 20, you get a plus 1% in all resistances. That should be maybe the last one. And then for every point, plus 3 mana. For every 5 points, plus 1 magic power. Then we move down to dexterity. For every point, plus 1 armor class. Activates with a minimum dex of 30. Okay. For every 3 points, plus 1 range damage. For every 10 points, plus 1 critical range chance. I would still like to see it as ranged. That's what I'm used to, but it doesn't matter. That one, totally up to you. Thoughts down below in the comment section, guys and gals. Would you prefer to say range damage or ranged damage? Maybe I'm just persnickety that way, and I'm wrong in this case. Totally possible. Completely possible. All right, speed for every 2 points, plus 1 in initiative. For every 5 points, plus over 20, plus 1% dodge chance. Okay, and gives extra action point at 50, 120, and 200. Perfect. Okay, and now we have to create our warrior. So I think I'm going to go like 22 strength, 20 constitution. I'm going to get people very upset here in a minute. We go like 16 dexterity. Maybe 16 speed as well. And then I don't like my stats being super low. I don't think intelligence or wisdom is going to play at all into being a warrior, but I'm still going to put a few points into it. Those min-maxers out there that know what they're doing, they're going to hate me so much. I apologize. It's just accept it and move on, folks. All right, so that's our warrior. And we've got ourselves weapons and armor, and we get to choose 3 starting abilities. So what I should do is choose a weapon, choose armor, and choose a heavy armor, and choose shield. I'm not going to do that. And I lamented this, and I know it's probably a terrible idea, but I'm going to go with axes and flails, assuming that the axe is going to be my main weapon, but I want it to be a two-handed. I'm hoping I can double dip. I'm hoping like two-handed weapons also benefit if it's an axe specifically. If I get a two-handed axe, I hope I get like double the oomph, and I'm able to crush stuff. I don't, or chop it or whatever. You know what I mean. I don't know if that's good or not, but that's what I'm doing. Again, could be making terrible mistakes. Should probably be shielding it up and so on and so forth. This is what we're going with. All right, second person, we're bringing Splooch along for the ride. Splooch, my sir, mi padre, actually. We're going to make him, yeah, this guy right here. He's going to be our pew-pew shooty ranger boy. We're going to go super high up into dexterity. Again, we'll start at 22. We'll go to 20 speed. I think I'm going to go to 10 with these two. Probably a mistake. Let's say 16 constitution, 12 strength. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. And we obviously want bows and crossbows. I want medium armor. And then my debate is, do I do dagger short sword in case I can't always use the archery? Or do I go something like wind magic or air magic or something? Or do I go ambidextrous? And then the alternative is, do I do something like that? I want to shoot stuff, so I think what I do is I cover potential melee and I cover ranged with medium armor. Again, could be terrible mistakes, could be great. I don't know. We're going to go with Ava. We're going to go female. Another suggestion would be, you have different avatar faces and images and stuff. That's great. I do like that. I appreciate it a lot. I'd like to see character classes, the names change. I don't know, like Ranger could technically be male or female, so the same thing with a warrior, or it could be like a warrioress. Sorceress, though. I guess sorceress is really the main one that I'd like to see changed. I don't know, maybe call it a mage, because like warrior could be male or female, ranger could be male or female, even shaman male or female, sorcerer male in general. But again, you could be a warrioress, you could be a rangeress, you could be a sorceress, you could be a shamaness. I guess, I don't know. Again, small things, I don't know. Doesn't really matter again, but alright, we're gonna go sorcerer or sorceress. Let's see. Intelligence. I'm gonna go higher with intelligence. I'm gonna go to 25. I'm gonna go 20 with wisdom. I want decent speed. Yeah, I think something like that. So 8, 12, 15, 10, 20, and 25. All right. That's what we're going to do. I don't know that I technically want the staff, but I'm going to get it anyway. We're going to go light armor, we're going to go staff, and we're going to go water magic. Maybe I should go 2 different schools of magic. I don't know. Like I said, I've not actually got a chance to play yet, so... And finally, you know the wife's coming along on the adventure. And boom, there she is. There she is. Alright, and she's gonna be our shaman. Alright, I think we're gonna go kinda similar. I don't know that I necessarily want to swap these, but I might. Not positive. Let's just start there. I want her to be a little bit faster. Okay, I got 2 points left. Let's just put them into end. So 10, 10, 16. Yeah, so 1 faster speed. I think that works. I don't know. I'm going to go clubs, mace, healing magic, and shield. Which might be weird because she doesn't have armor. But that's what I'm going to do. We'll see how this plays. I have no earthly idea, but it's what I'm going to do. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our very first episode. Like I said, it was going to basically be the tutorial and us getting in, doing our character creation, and so on and so forth. I do hope you all enjoyed. We are going to be throwing this episode and the next episode pretty much back to back up on YouTube, so you guys will be able to actually get to see some gameplay pretty much immediately after going through the tutorial and the character creation. It also gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on, so you don't have to go through the tutorial and stuff yourself. You can just kind of dive into the game and play it immediately if you pick it up and decide to do so. A big shout out and a thank you once again to the developer for hooking me up with the code for this. If you folks want more information about the game, where to get the game, information on the developer, all that stuff will be down below in the description of the video and various links, just like it always is. And that's pretty much it. Until the very next episode, I have been your host, Bumpy McSquigums. Thank you so much for stopping by the Freak Show. We play, we fight, we conquer.